My sister and I are in the process of restoring my 1949 Studebaker 2R5 half-ton pickup truck. And tonight I just wanted to sit down and talk about the assembly of the self-adjusting device found on some Studebaker drum brakes. I only have drum brakes on the rear axle, and that's where you will find the self-adjusting device. When you do remove the brake drum, what you'll see is a shoe like this, and you'll see the self-adjusting device part right here. If you rotate the shoe, you'll see what they call a contact plug self-adjusting tip, and then on the back side of the shoe you'll see the rest of the self-adjusting device that we'll talk about in a little bit. Self-adjusting device is located on the long shoe. The long shoe is the brake pad, goes from the top to the bottom there. And as a frame of reference, the other shoe is what you would call the short shoe, and it has the brake pad that goes from here down to here about 3/4 of the way. When you do remove your brake drums, what you'll see is the shoe's oriented this way. Your long shoe is oriented on the side where the front bumper is, and your short shoe is always oriented on the side where your rear bumper is. And so that's what it'll look like when you see the shoes. There's some other springs in there, but in general this is what you'll see. I did purchase the self-adjusting kit from Studebaker International for my pickup. It's a 14-piece kit. There are 2 of everything in it, so you can do the shoes on each side. What you have here is the actuating lever with tips. These are size specific, and you'll have these 2 pins in there. You'll have this little bitty part here called the wedge guide that you'll be using. Then you have the wedge here. It's got a little tip right there where you're going to end up hooking the spring to it. And that's the spring right here. This is the wedge spring. This is the actuating lever spring that we'll be placing. And this right here is the contact plug pressure spring. It's a little concave piece of metal. But what I also want to point out is it has 2 tabs here that are folded flat. You need to turn those up. That way this actually slides under the contact plug, and with those tabs up it'll keep it from sliding out from underneath the contact plug. So make sure you do that. This is the contact plug. These come with these kits, but they're separate, so make sure when you get the kits that these are with them. One for each shoe. That's what it looks like. And so we'll just go right into putting this together. I'll start with the contact plug itself. Got my shoe here. You'll see the hole. I'm going to slide it in there. You'll see it's coming in, and that's how the contact plug is going to be moving up and down. What I want to do next is put in the contact plug pressure spring, and that'll help keep the contact plug in place as we finish putting this together, and it won't be moving around on us. So there's the contact plug with the wedge spring in it. You can see the pressure spring here, and then those tabs will keep it from sliding out from underneath there. We'll go ahead and rotate that on over. And what I want to do now is there's a little hole right here, and that's where the wedge guide is going to go. So insert the wedge guide. It goes just like that. And then you want to take the wedge, this piece, and where you got this raised lip, you want it to go up, and you want to lay it down so that you straddle this hole here, and it's on the downside from the wedge guide. So you have the wedge guide, and then you have the wedge, and now we're going to put the actuating lever on there. And again, you got the two pins here, and they're going to go into this hole here and this hole here where the contact plug is. I'll reach underneath here and press up so that I can see the contact plug hole there. I'm going to take this and lay it down, fit it inside of the holes, and so there it is. And what that does for you is this wedge here is going to be able to move back and forth. So there we got that. We'll go ahead and hold on to this, rotate it over, and you'll see where those 2 pins from the actuating lever came through. That's what we're going to take and use our actuating spring. We're going to hook it in. To that pin there. And then the second part of the spring we're going to hook into this pin right here. And then what we'll do is, now that we got that in there, we're just going to take press the spring down until it clips over to right here. So once that is done, you have your actuating spring here. It's connected to that pin from the actuating lever that is on the other side. Here is your contact plug. Underneath your contact plug is your contact plug pressure spring. We'll go ahead and rotate this back over, and the last thing we want to do is we're going to hook the wedge spring to here and to here. And so now that's connected. And to check it out, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and pull out the lever. We're going to go ahead and pull out the wedge here. And there's the wedge fully extended. And as the shoe wears down, it puts pressure on the contact plug and it pushes the contact plug down. When that happens, it allows this wedge to slide forward. And that action is supposed to be able to help the vehicle to maintain the same distance you press your brake pedal. See how it works? I'm going to push down on the contact plug here. And you see as that wedge moves in, as the contact plug goes down. So that kind of represents the shoe wearing out. The other thing you want to be aware of is that your contact plug here needs to be at least level with the top of your shoe, or maybe just slightly below it. So here's the brake shoe with the contact plug filed down. I've got it just where it's level with the surface of the brake shoe itself, maybe just a tad below it. The way you check this is by simply rolling the shoe over and rolling it on a flat surface. And if the self-adjusting device doesn't move or activate, then the shoe is ready for mounting. The end of the contact plug is flat, so you just need to make sure that when you file it down to match the curvature of the brake shoe. And this will help to minimize any scratching on the brake drum. That's what it takes to assemble the self-adjusting device for my 1949 Studebaker 2R5. And I hope this helps somebody else out there. Thank you very much, and bye.